With Hurricane Isaac causing so much damage to southeast Louisiana and many of the nation's farmers and ranchers reeling from this year's drought, there's no comfort in the knowledge that Congress will not take up the 2012 Farm Bill until after the November elections. So what does that mean for farmers and ranchers badly in need of disaster assistance provisions, which already expired from the previous Farm Bill? We find out from This Week in Louisiana Agriculture's AJ Sabine, who is standing by with our in-studio guest. AJ?
That's right, Avery. Last week, Speaker Boehner from the House of Representatives announced that the Farm Bill will not be taking up until the lame duck session. And joining us now to talk more about that Farm Bill is National Affairs Director Kyle McCann for the Louisiana Farm Bureau. And Kyle, many farmers really want something to happen, particularly with this Farm Bill. What's the probability that Congress will get together and, despite what Speaker Boehner has said, actually move forward with this Farm Bill?
We do think that they will move forward during the lame duck session. This is not unusual for Farm Bill. I know we need a Farm Bill. We needed it some time ago. Growers are already meeting with their landowners, bankers, trying to make plans for next year, and no one knows what the rules of the game will be next year because you don't have a Farm Bill. We understand that. However, we got caught up in a lot of national politics. And while nothing was going to take place before adjournment, before the elections, November 12th, they do come back into session, a lame duck session where they have to deal with some fiscal matters and some other things that have to be done before the end of the year. The Farm Bill is one of those, and it looks like from all the clues that we get from leadership that they will address it at that time.
Farmers have been really challenged of late, particularly with Hurricane Isaac, as you well know. A lot of soybean farms were inundated with water, particularly in Assumption and Ascension parishes. Is there going to be any sort of ad hoc disaster bill coming out of this stalemate in Congress in the lame duck session?
I don't know that there will be. They're going to get caught up in a very short time period to deal with some large issues. The best thing I can show you as a barometer of that is there's been a extended drought across much of the Midwest. Very little was ever done towards that end. Now, granted, in the Senate's Farm Bill, there were some disaster provisions for livestock included, which extended the programs that had just recently expired. The House on their own passed just some livestock disaster-related things. Nothing to do with row crops whatsoever. That never made it through the process, however. So will something like that get included in the Farm Bill debate? It's quite possible, but they've even had a very tough time on dealing with a very large disaster issue where they really haven't come with any adequate additional support beyond crop insurance for the row crop people in particular.
And finally, Kyle, as we run out of time, earlier this year I talked to several rice farmers who really would like to have seen an extension of the 2008 Farm Bill. With so much going on and pending on this November election, will farmers even see an extension of that bill coming out of this election?
I don't see it. Most members, the Republican leadership didn't even get behind it. There was a huge amount of a large sector of that party that was not going to have anything to do with a simple extension. Also, on the other side of the aisle, there were several Democrats, particularly Colin Peterson, ranking member on the Ag Committee, who is totally opposed to any kind of an extension. In a large part due to the fact that that takes the pressure off of actually passing a reform measure that they're wanting to pass. The House has a good Farm Bill. They just got to get it out of the committee and over on the floor and go do what they need to do in some kind of compromise with the Senate. We're not as happy with the Senate Farm Bill, but we do understand that both House and Senate Ag Committee staff have been meeting on how they can resolve the differences between the two. And hopefully with just a few steps, a few actions, particularly on the House side in lame duck, we can get to that measure.
Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see to what the outcome of this election is. Folks, he is Kyle McCann, the National Affairs Director for the Louisiana Farm Bureau. And Avery, you heard it here first. We all have to wait and see, particularly in light of the Hurricane Isaac. And we just got to keep our fingers crossed that farmers can get the relief that they need. Back to you.
Thanks, AJ. Still to come on This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, it's the invention which changed the future of cotton farming and the South. Kristen Oakes looks at the history of the cotton gin in this week's Ag Minute. Stay with us.